Okay, you're recording.
What? What am I going to say?
Say whatever you
Hi,
want.
I'm Kim Clements. I'm on ACE. I have heart condition and tummy issues and I don't know. And I live in Red Deer.
What was it about Hummingbird that drew you to us?
I don't even know. I think it was when this virus outbreak came along. There's something popped up in there that I just thought it was like a place to go. Well, I first added myself on ACE and disability page, and then I just thought this was a safer, more comfy format for me because it was like ACE was more an informative page, where the Hummingbird Project was more a caring page,
Okay.
sort of. Yeah.
So my sister group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you do realize that the Alberta Hummingbird Project is about fighting for people's needs and educating people about what disability is and why it is important to have proper programs and or resources for people of varying disabilities.
Yes.
What is it that you would like to see as an older person with your health conditions and or disability in regards to what you would need as an individual?
I think for me, the biggest part of me right now is that I can look after myself and I can function pretty well. It's like when I'm going to have a surgery this summer. When I'm sick or when I'm ill or when I'm older scares me. What's going to happen to me when I'm older? I don't want to be a burden to my friends, so I don't want to live with a friend because I just feel I would be a burden. I know that they wouldn't feel that way, but I would. But getting older is scary, especially when you have a disability because I have to look after this pacemaker, I have to look after my stomach, I have to look after so many things on top of the fact just try to get food in me and pay my bills. And it's nerve-wracking when I think about turning 65 and where am I going to be. There's especially after this virus hit all the homes and it just
I
I'm
think that
scared.
scares a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 46, and that's what I'm looking at, both as a caregiver and a person with autism and ADHD. What I need does not exist. And I don't know how many people I've come across with my neurodiverse issues have said, I wish I had someone or something that allowed me to keep my independence, but in case my natural supports pass on or get sick, where will I go if I need help with banking or my impulse issues go nuts? Who's going to be there for me when everything I know is gone?
Exactly.
And my biggest fear is that if my husband gets sick, how do I go through the rigmarole of trying to decipher who to talk to first to say that my husband is dead or sick or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the biggest, scariest
be
goddamn
scary.
thing there is.
That would be scary. Yeah.
And as a person who is a caregiver and has seen this time and time again for the last 20 years, it scares me to no end. And as far as I'm concerned, when I was first here in Alberta, it was a lot easier because I had that kind of help.
Yeah.
No natural support should be forced to take on the burdens that your disability may put you through as you age or get older. Because time changes everything. And whether I have friends that are in their 80s or my age,
Yeah.
the fact is that this is the future that we have, as long as our government remains as it is.
That's what worries me is if this government stays the way it is, I almost would rather be dead by 65. And that scares me to think about that because I wouldn't want to like do anything, but it's just a matter of I'd almost rather not have to be I'm scared. I'm terrified of where I will be if I get dementia.
Yeah.
It runs in my family. I just got diagnosed with glaucoma. I'm terrified of losing my sight. What if I lose any of that stuff? I'm going to go to one of these homes no. I don't, they're just going to shove me in some kind of sausage factory. Well, not a sausage factory, but they're going to shove me in with a bunch of people and, it's going to be like a dorm.
Yeah.
where we all get sick.
With the changes to AISH, and I know there have been some pretty severe changes, it's turned into more of a 3-tier system as far as I know, where a lot of people who've been on AISH for a very long time may not have it anymore within a year.
Yep.
Is this where you're headed as well?
Huge. It's a huge concern for me because right now that I'm being audited, I was audited last year. I don't understand why I keep getting audited. Nobody else that I know around this area that's on AISH is getting audited. So I'm nervous that they're trying to throw me off or trying to get me onto CPP only or CPPD only.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah.
And with Kenny threatening to pull away from CPP, CPPD actually ties into CPP.
And then I'm screwed. I have nothing. I have nowhere. I'm screwed. And I worry about that. Like, I get a call from my worker and she's like, you got to get this done. And it's like, I can't get all this done. And I'm trying to get my surgery. I'm nervous about losing the H. Oh. I'm nervous about losing the, I'm like super nervous that they're trying to get me off H because now they're fixing my issues in their eyes. But I'm living with a pacemaker defibrillator, so I still can't work. But in their eyes, my issues are getting better because I am going through the processes of either, I had to get the pacemaker or I die. But then now they're saying, okay, now your heart isn't as bad because you have the pacemaker.
But you're also 60-something. What are the
I'm
chances
55.
of you? Yeah, you still got another 10 years to go to find work.
I know.
Nobody hires anyone over 30.
And nobody's going to hire me.
And it's even worse if you have a disability that is of cognitive or neurological delay.
Exactly.
How is that going to help you live if things that you need in order to carry on?
There's no place, like I've looked and looked and looked, there's no place to go anymore. And it's getting worse. Now we don't even get any extra money. It's just being stagnant at the same price the same check we get. So I'm thinking, like, how am I gonna, like, even my dog is like, that's my whole world, and if I need to be able to afford to feed him, and then I can't feed myself, and then it's like, what's going on? What if I end up homeless? That terrifies me.
I think that terrifies a lot of people I know. Like, I made Alberta Hummingbird Project as a resource for people to be able to voice themselves. And everyone has to know that once I do something like this and put them on video, that it's going straight to Renault. Because she is a member of our crew.
And that's another thing that's really upset me. I was lucky. I just got on the cusp of when Kenny got in. Just before he got in, I got on Red Deer Housing, and they stopped all that. And luckily,
with all the subsidies?
With me, I was in. Yeah, with the subsidies. With me, I just slid in like October, literally the month of the election. I got in, and that was just by a fluke. And I literally was up in the hospital getting the pacemaker put in when I got slid in. Like, I pretty much had to friggin' die before I could get it, but I got it. And then all of a sudden, I suggested it to some newcomers around these buildings to go and check it out, and I found out that he had cut it completely.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, I saw the news on that months ago, and it scares me and a lot of my friends that are within the group and as well as AISH. What I wanted Hummingbird to be was a person-centered program in Edmonton to help people with neurodiverse issues or those that are of aging populations who have mental disabilities. Because the more I look up online in concerns to mental disorders, they tend to get dementia and Alzheimer's a lot earlier than the average person.
That's what worries me, because I've already noticed myself forgetting whole days. Like, my friend took me to his and her house to see his new couch, and I don't remember that day. It's gone.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times they remind me and how many times they tell me what I said when I was there, I don't remember that day. Like, that scares me. Like, I'm actually got to the point now where I'm putting notes, especially because of his care. This is Winston, and he has some issues too, but he was very loved. But I'll put notes to make sure that I give him his medicine because he's on daily medicine and stuff. Because I don't know what day I'm gonna forget, and I literally like that's terrified me. I was not just out of surgery on painkillers. I was not. There was no excuse for me to not, and I don't remember. And they told me they picked me up a good half a mile away from my house, which terrifies me.
Yeah.
And luckily they called. It was them that called, not something stupid. They called and wondered why I was up there, and then said that I was acting normal, but apparently I was going to the bank. I wanted something at the bank. I don't know. I do a lot of my banking online. But that also worries me too because I constantly I get up every day and check my bank to make sure I have paid all my bills, and I do it over and over repetitively because now I get worried.
You have no choice because of
because things are slipping.
Yeah, and
they don't understand that.
I mean, like, the older I get, the more forgetful I might get.
Yeah.
Some days are worse than others.
Yes.
And I'm only 46 this year. But
mine, I can't believe I can't remember that complete day. I can't remember conversations I had with some friends that those are gone.
Usually that happens after a meltdown for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the same token, I love how my group has transformed itself over a 3-year period, and the more it develops, the better it gets. But at the same time, I also want to create a movement where people with disabilities, it doesn't matter if you have physical or if you're a senior, it's a point of bringing the whole entire community together and saying, I am tired of all of this. I am tired of being bullied by our government. I am tired of being put in a position where it's pay John over here or starve tomorrow.
It's every day is a worry with this government. Every day is a worry.
Yeah.
Every time I get up, I try to be happy, and I think that's why that actually makes everything worse. I think that's why some days I must check out, really. I mean, I'm sure it's like, it's a lot of neurological things going on too, but I think it happens more often because I'm worried every day. I get up and it's just like, am I going to get through the day and make it like so that he doesn't need the vet, or I don't need to eat, or like, well, I need to eat, but it's like, even when I have this surgery, I have to have special stuff like Boost and all this other special soft foods and stuff. Am I going to be able to afford all that stuff to recuperate my stomach properly? Like, there's no allowances for that. There's no allowances for diet. I know, baby. He says, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, like I worry, and I think that the worry makes all of our disabilities worse. All of them. It doesn't matter what you have as a disability if you're every day worried about just the basic needs.
Yeah. If there was a few people with disabilities out there that wanted to create a disability caucus, how far in would you want to dive in?
I would like to go all the way in, but I know that every now and then I have to check out. And
We all do that.
Sometimes I check out and I'm actually in, but I don't remember it. But yeah, there's sometimes I have to check out. It just gets overwhelming. But if I saw some improvement and I could sort of like, it's sort of like a support, like, sort of stand in between two people kind of thing, and that would help too. Yeah. So then
that's pretty much why I created the Alberta Hummingbird Project, because that's what we're working on, is to create a disability caucus.
Yeah.
So that means that we're going to need people of all generations, but we also need people that are wanting to dive in without testing the water.
Yeah.
And voice their...
I have to dive in without testing the water. I'm too old not to. Right now, I have to dive in
because
fully.
this has to do with our future. I want to be the last generation that is going without. When I say I need a disability skills coach, that does not mean HCA. HCAs are only trained to wipe your ass.
That's right.
When you need a disability skills coach, that means that your finances are taken care of because somebody's doing your banking, but you also have your independence, your autonomy, your self-worth, and your dignity.
Exactly.
When you bring up a person's dignity, how much more would that be in a person's life?
100,000 million times. it's I don't even have the words for it. It's life changing.
I mean,
Having your own, having dignity, and you coming here just to visit me and picking me up with the new hair and stuff, just making me feel like a normal human being, is just, it's amazing. It's incredible. Like, and if we had a group that I would like to help too, so that women in my situation were we were always I was always relied on. I don't want to say relied, but I had a man in my life, and it was. But all of a sudden, at 50, it ended. Everything ended. I lost my home. I lost my daughter. I lost my husband. I lost everything, and yeah, I came out of that Fort McMurray fire with like nothing except my dog. So I started all over, and I don't want to, and I worried, and I still worry. Once I got on Aish, which was still a struggle, but once I got on Aish, I was a little bit happier because I could support myself to some extent. But this apartment that I'm sitting in, for other people on Aish that didn't get into housing, is $1,000. So you could just imagine what I had left before I got on. And that's disgusting. I just think
it is very disgusting on how a lot of people have to live. I mean, this is the cleanest place that I've seen for avenue living.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being honest.
And that's only just this building, because the two buildings next to us are not. But this is,
I mean, when I have to pull friends out of roach-infested dives in Edmonton.
That's the problem too, is the stigma of renting on Aish is horrendous. Like I keep my home and try to look after the place because I'm renting, and also I want to take pride in my place. But it's hard. When you're on Aish, and it's like you go into these places. When I was looking at places, this was like, well, they gave me paint and stuff, which was nice, but I was just like, oh my God. And you have a dog. You're on Aish and you have a dog. You're stigmatized into some kind of like, go into where the rats and bugs are. It terrified me.
Would you mind telling me what the stigma is on Aish that people have to face?
I don't know what it is. It's just nobody wants to rent to anyone who's on Aish, where we actually have a guaranteed, well, for the most part, see, this is the kind of neighbors I have. For the most part, like, we have a guaranteed income, but I don't know what it is with Aish.
I know what it is. Because when I was on Aish, the stigma when I was on Aish years ago was that if you have any kind of subsidy or any kind of whatever, you were looked at as scum.
Definitely.
Like drug addict central.
Definitely.
And about 90% of all the people that I know that are on Aish are just like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
The problem is that the poor a part of society is the systemic abuses that come with it are exponential. Mm-hmm. And when you are stuck in that environment, you have two choices: become a drug addict or try and live or starve. And then what? You don't do drugs, but you're on Aish.
Yeah. Yes, I had that. When I first moved in here, and it was like, what? Like, all my neighbors, actually, this building's not bad, but my neighbors in the next two buildings were like, I'd go outside for a cigarette or go outside with my dog, and it was just amazing that I wasn't I didn't have like a whole pile of beer in my fridge or a bunch of, what do you call it, meth.
Yeah.
I don't even know what meth feels like, and I don't want to know. But I don't even know what beer feels like. I mean, I have a pacemaker. So it's like, no, I mean, I'm just trying to live my life and feed myself and pay my bills. I'd like to watch TV.
Yeah.
I barely can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I used to live in that life, but I also had a very good set of helpers in my life. Like, I had the disability skills coach in my early 20s. I had workers coming out the yin-yang. I lived in supported roommate accommodation.
Yeah.
But that was in my earlier years. As I got older, the less it became.
They kept taking everything away.
Yeah. And soon enough, I have the need to either remarry or hope. I remarried into a second marriage that was also abusive. Again, it doesn't help.
No.
So again, I had to leave my husband and try and forge my own way. When you can't, when you have a hard time with a neurodiverse issue, keeping a job is hell because employers don't understand.
No.
The older you get, the less likely you're about to get hired, even if you're NTs, neurotypical, people without disability. When you have mentioned the word disability to any employer, it doesn't matter who it is. They're running for the hills and treat you like the plague.
Totally.
You know, and right now I've gotten to the point where I just don't give a damn whether I say what I say or not, because
they're gonna treat you the same.
You know what? I'd rather not be working and hoping that I'm helping somebody than to be in a job where I'm not being appreciated for all the hard work I do. I mean, I've literally been on the job and they've called me a lazy effing bitch in front of 12 people.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've been told I've been too old. I tried to get a job, but I left Fort McMurray and everything. It was my doctor who said, "Are you crazy? Your heart condition is one it keeps getting worse as you go on." And I was, because the heart condition I have would stop my heart for like 6 to 9 seconds. Well, what happens when your heart stops for 6 to 9 seconds? You hit the ground.
Yeah.
So I can't go to work. I mean, now with the pacemaker, I'm not going to hit the ground or I'll get a defibrillation or something. But
become a Walmart greeter.
Yeah.
I'd be the first one telling people off.
Yeah.
But
and I'm not good at that. Like, I think that would make me so nervous.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd have to force myself if I lost more age. Like, if I'm losing more and more and they're trying to cut, and I don't understand, like, for my worker, the only time I hear from her is to audit me.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. In fact, she's called me at the hospital about getting some paper that I already gave her twice. That, like, it's like, this is stupid. She's still calling me during this virus thing about a paper for CPPD that I gave her 2 years ago. It's like, it's not my fault that I moved and lost the copy. You guys should have the copy. But I don't have, like, there's no other support except that check going in the bank. Yeah. Like, really, there's no other support.
And that's why we have to come together as a disability community, because of that lack of support. You really got to think, pre-COVID, all the community resources, people with mental health issues such as schizophrenia, they had those group therapies. But if you have a neurodiverse way and you're able to function pretty much on your own, you have nothing, especially after the age of 18.
No.
And this scares me, it scares my friends, and I don't want to grow old in Alberta. No. I really don't.
That's my issue right now too, is I'm rethinking, like, do I want to go through the process of getting disability in another province, because this is scaring the crap out of me.
I mean, you go to BC, and any other province, to get any kind of form of disability, GAIN is what they call it in BC. Unfortunately, you have to be there for 3 months before you can get on it.
I looked into that, yep.
I'm the type of person that researches the hell out of everything. And I'm from BC. I used to have GAIN. I know this. But again, you got to look at the southern part of BC right now. If you have neurodiverse issues and or other health issues, they have leaps and bounds for help. Yeah. But you come to Alberta and it's like,
nothing.
It's scary.
It is scary. It's hard to try to function like normal. I understand why people turn to drugs and alcohol and everything in this lifestyle, because had I started this lifestyle when I was in my 20s, I might actually be sitting here saying, yeah, I'm an addict or a recovering addict, hopefully, but still, I understand, because it's like, how can you escape from this worry and this fear?
Yeah.
Like, I understand, and people have such a, especially around these parts, they have such a stigma for them too.
Yeah.
And then it's like then we're all pushed down. It's like, to me, it's like we're going down a drain, and we're all together.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyone, everybody that has a disability or even has an addiction, or that's a disability in my mind.
But they too have their
that's
groups,
their disability.
much like AA.
Yeah, we don't have.
If you
they
have other
a
issues,
lot of support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have something else, it's not.
No.
You know, and that's why we have to come together. It is what it is.
Yeah.
If you have an invisible disability where it doesn't show on the outside, you don't have any aids, you don't have anything.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You got to find your own natural supports.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the best support is within a community.
Yes, that's right.
Even if it is online.
Yeah, definitely. Like I had no support whatsoever until I got into the Hummingbird Project. There was nothing. In fact, I was pretty bad off when I first joined that group, and I actually had a member help me that night. Like, I was in bad shape. The only thing keeping me my head above water was my dog, and it's like, I say it because he needs me, but that's pretty rough.
I mean, my Hummingbird mental health group, that's what it's there for. The actual Hummingbird Project is more political, and people trying to teach each other how to voice their opinions and coming out of their shells, because I'm sorry, but we need to grow.
That's right, and I think it offers encouragement. Like, I would like to help. Like, it might not change in my lifetime by the time my battery goes on my pacemaker, but I would like to help another person that's going to be 55 in my position to be comfortable, at least just wake up and know they're okay. They don't have to worry about their future.
What about actually bringing up self-esteem, even though you're in the
that
situation?
That would be awesome.
You know, that is when you empower people to bring out their voice and say, hey, look, I can do this. I can write letters. I can call. I can go to this X person who happens to be my MLA and tell them exactly what I think without being ostracized or being embarrassed as to how I say it.
Yes.
Because you had the nerve to say.
Or having repercussions where we're told, it feels like I'm a child again. We're told that if we speak up and if we balk the system, and like I was saying to my worker, how am I supposed to get something from 2 years ago from Service Canada when it's closed? And like, oh, don't give me any lip, because if you don't get it, you don't get your check. It's like, hello?
That is the biggest problem of all. That's the biggest problem of all. A lot of workers these days, from what I've noticed and talked to others, they like to use a little bullying.
Yeah, I feel like it's like I'm just like, I feel like a child. I get off the phone, it's like, I really can actually, I know I have some cognitive problems, and I know things are going downhill fast, but I don't need to be told like a child. Like, I have a lot of my papers. Yes, I lost one, and that's particularly the one that they lost. And it's like, why am I being? This is just ridiculous. And they're like threatening to take away my age, take away my Red Deer housing, take away all this stuff. Like, how is that helping me get prepared for major surgery next month?
Exactly.
That's crazy. And then you come and it's like, I'm going downhill fast, and you come and fix my hair. It's like, just something this, like, it's not small, but I mean, just something like this can just bring somebody up like so much. Like, I want to do stuff like that for, people. I did that for a neighbor of mine, and apparently she just loves to get her hair done, and when she does, I do see a difference in her.
Yeah.
Huge.
Sometimes the smallest thing brings out the person and makes them comfortable.
Yeah, because I would never do this video. It just occurred.
Because you got to really think, when you tell yourself over and over, I can't, pretty soon you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you have someone come into your life like me and say, yeah, pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. But it's hard because I think a lot of the people with disabilities are in the same boat with me.
Yes.
Luckily, I have a doctor who encourages me every time I see him, and I love him. But if I had, some of them have doctors that put them down, and I treat them like kids. Then they have workers that put them down and order them around and treat them like kids.
Why do you think?
There's always the threat of losing everything, and then what do you do?
They're going to lose everything if they don't speak out anyway.
Exactly.
So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So either grow balls and say something, or say nothing and become homeless.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
And I think
that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and I think like the Hummingbird Project it's showing, I don't know, there's hope. Like, there's strength in numbers, there's hope. That gives us, I think, in my opinion anyway, it gives us some hope that something can change. There's more like-minded people together. Maybe we can get together and make some kind of change. Even if it doesn't happen before I die, if I just knew I began it, I'd I would die a lot happier. Like, I would know that somebody else in my position will come up in the rinks and be comfortable and not worry every day and not have to be surrounded by drug addicts walking by their window all the time and scared, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, maybe they weren't drug addicts, poor souls.
I mean, when your
still.
worker does what she does to you, does it make you feel really low and
Oh, yeah.
like you can't?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that happened in my day too.
Yeah.
Especially those that were on AISH.
Yeah.
In the AISH programs, the workers in the AISH programs, a lot of them are jaded and they like to threaten you.
Yeah.
I'm not on AISH
It
anymore
makes me feel-
because my husband and
Yeah.
his wage.
It
But I still
definitely
have
makes
to-
me feel
yeah.
like super stupid and super
You're not stupid.
nothing. Like I'm like some kind of dummy for losing a paper that they should have had. And why are you giving me AISH if you think I'm going to get CPPD? And anyway, I've already turned in all these papers, and that's like they're just harassing.
You're not stupid.
But
Number
yeah.
1. Number 2, that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you have it in you to speak out and say, no, I don't need to deal with this. Just because I'm on AISH doesn't mean that you have the right to treat me like shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's a very domineering personality, and I
Remind you of somebody we all know in government?
yes yes
You know, we need to empower people.
yeah
We need
to have a voice back.
Yeah. And that was my biggest hope, was one person at a time, go straight to their house and say, okay, you know what? Let's see what I can do in one day. If it means giving them a bloody new hairdo, how much confidence did that boost you?
A lot.
You're smiling right now.
Exactly, and then also because you helped me this way, now I feel like I want to help others too. Like, because it's like, honestly, if my social worker called right now, I probably would stick up for myself and say like, slow it down, because I can't get anything. I can't get anything done. The virus is still out there. You guys are closed. Service Canada's closed. I'll do it when I can do it.
Yep.
That's all I
Yep.
can do.
I mean, these workers and the way a lot of people on AISH have to live will bring down someone's self-esteem and their social skills and their whoever they were before AISH ain't gonna be while they're on AISH.
No.
And when I was on AISH, thankfully I had enough self-esteem that I could probably have other people borrow from me. And I don't mind. Like, I'm trying to teach people that when you have self-esteem, no matter the situation you're in, there's worse shit to be in
Yes.
than
Oh
what
yeah,
you're in
that's
now.
true. Yes.
Right?
And I always think of that too, especially if I have any health ailments and stuff. And it's like, okay, even when the virus hit and I saw the poor people that didn't have homes, I was like, you know what? It may not be the best home, but I'm
It's
safe.
still home.
Yeah. I'm safe, I'm warm, or cool, whichever this day weather is, but I'm safe. You know, my doggy and I have food in our tummies. And,
Exactly.
You know, and I can have a shower when I want, and I have clothes. And,
I
you know.
mean, is it
I'm
worth
doing okay.
sitting in your home or hovel trying to discern whether you should feel sorry for yourself or whatever? Or is it worthwhile to step out of your shell and say something or do something that could benefit a lot more down the road?
Exactly.
Even though it's not benefiting you right now,
I still
it's
think
still
that yes.
down the road.
I would like to know that before I died, I made some kind of imprint, like something, like even if I just started the process of speaking to someone like I am right now. This is the first time I've ever done this. Like, it just speaking for women my age and worries that we're going to have as we get older. Doesn't matter what our disabilities are. I think even people with non-disabilities at my age would be worried. But in Alberta, it's crazy. It's like, I have really thought about going to other provinces because I'm terrified of where I will end up.
Well, I can guarantee you that any province that supports UCP, you're going to be boned.
Yep.
And there's good and bad in every province. Even though that BC is a progressive social
They're
province,
expensive.
you got to think, what do they use those taxes for? Why do you think they have programs that are going to be person-centered within the next year? Their high taxes go into the parks and as well as infrastructures.
Mm-hmm.
How would that help you if they had programs that would meet your needs, or even partially meet your needs?
It would, I mean, first of all, right away, you would just feel like if you just had some support and programs that would just even partially meet my needs, would just lift us up. Like, give you hope. Everybody needs some kind of hope. We shouldn't be living in fear. We're like living in fear and jumping around with worry and anxiety, and we got to have hope.
Well,
we got to get up every day and
yeah.
hope for something. It's got to be like, it's got to change. I don't think it'll change in my lifetime, but I sure would mind being a part of.
I bet you anything it will change in your lifetime just by helping one person.
That, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, if I could help one woman my age just feel better about, or even not my age, just anyone out there feel just to feel better.
Yeah.
And give them some
part
hope.
Of getting up every day. For me, making these videos for the last 3 years brought me out of my social anxiety. I still have it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think, this girl, she's 46, she has social anxiety, autism, ADHD.
And she's doing it.
Why is she the way she is?
Mm-hmm.
I should be having a fucking meltdown right now on the way here from Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay? Really?
Mm-hmm. I know. I was thinking I couldn't even drive from here to Edmonton to go see you. I can't believe that you did that.
But that's because I fight and show myself that not everything is what your imagination puts it up to be.
So true.
I mean,
So
your social anxiety,
true.
it only amplifies the fear of the unknown.
So true.
And I can tell you by my personal experience of being a statistic by the time I was 13, 8 times, that all the people I knew that attacked me, I knew them. They were friends of family or family. Okay? You know what I mean by statistic?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that why am I afraid of the unknown?
Mm-hmm.
It's always the known that you should be more afraid of.
Yep.
We all know that Kenny
That is
is an ass.
so true.
We all know.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
We all know that given the circumstance of history of this austerity party, I wish he'd kiss my austerity.
Always inject the humor in there. It's good to laugh too. That's
But
the best medicine.
at the same time, you got to think from past, because I knew what this party was like before they were UC people. And given the steps that they've taken so far, what is the next logical recourse that they're going to do? They've already started privatizing all the homes for severe kids or adults. They have made it so that the medical in AISH, if I was on AISH and needed a CPAP, I would have to pay over $6,000 because if you have sleep apnea issues, it stops you from breathing. My husband has sleep apnea, okay? So that means that not only are some of the meds that people are on not covered, but same with life-saving machinery.
Yep.
That scares me.
Yep.
If you are a senior who has cancer and your husband happens to be of age to get CPP and you were once on his medical, and now because of Kenny, you have to go and get on some other medical because you don't reach the criteria for which covers the very medication that will keep you alive.
Yep.
Blue Cross doesn't cover everything.
Nope.
And each medication, from what I understand, the most expensive one that could save your life runs you about $400, if not more.
Yep.
So
I mean, and
how's that?
That's terrible. Like I know with my doctor, thankfully, always looks it up, but he gets so angry because he's always, giving me medicine for blood pressure, warfarin, things like that. He doesn't want to get me on warfarin, but some of the other blood thinners are not covered. Like, how can a blood thinner not be covered? What are you looking for? How can a blood thinner not be covered?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Or even when I had the virus, I came out of the hospital. The antibiotics that they wanted to give me were not covered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we shut down the world to save all these people, but you're not going to give me the drugs to help me recover from this? That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just crazy. It's getting worse. The
Yeah.
more I see Kenny speak on my Facebook or anywhere that I see him, it just terrifies me.
I think it scares all of us, and that's why I put those things in there so that we hear it directly from the horse's mouth. Because all that is happening within our society here in Alberta,
As we're getting squished.
yeah, you know, he's bleeding blood from a stone.
He is, and on top of that, not only is he making all these cutbacks, everybody that's supposedly working for us, are pushing us down and down and down, and we're getting beat on all sides.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I should have emptied it. But yeah, we're getting beat on all sides, and it just worries me as we go. Like every election, it seems it's getting. I don't particularly enjoy what Trudeau has been doing with us either. Can I have a light, please? And I don't like, but Kenny has really just like he flew in here in October and obliterated so much of the disability. Like it stopped us from getting our raises that we already had for 5 years and such. What?
Oh, goodness. I'm just checking to see if it was still. Sometimes my computer acts funny.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like he just obliterated so many things. Like how can you just come in and say, okay, boop. Like the only people that are surviving right now really well are like, well, now that because of the virus there's not a whole lot of people. But he just like I wish that they would have somebody, I don't know, maybe their mother or something. I don't wish it on anyone, but if he had his mother at 55 sitting around on Aish and worried, or any age sitting around on Aish worried about sport programs, worried about this, worried about that, and there's nothing that they could do, and he has to actually spend some time to look after her, maybe he would actually have a brain, but they don't because they have the money and nobody. And I was part of that because I lived in Fort McMurray when my ex was a welder, and we did, very well, and I didn't have any worries. And I'm guilty of that. Although I didn't treat people horribly if they were on ACE and stuff. It was, but when I got on ACE, I couldn't believe it. I understood why people are so upset in Alberta. It's like, oh my Lord, you get on ACE, you already have a disability. It's embarrassing enough to go around and say that. Then you have to apply for this. You go to the doctor and all this other crap. You get on it and then they smack you down.
Yeah.
And then they smack you down. And every time you have a good day, they smack you down.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then they have an election and they smack you down more. It's
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Even with this virus, what happened to the people with disabilities? Absolutely zip.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk anywhere. I had the virus myself, but even if I didn't, where was I going to walk to? How was I going to get groceries? We had extra expenses too, lots of us, all of us. And it was scarier, I think.
I think it's scary no matter if you're on ACE or not, because it's even worse when the groups or people that you depended on couldn't visit you anymore because social isolation.
That got so scary.
When you have social isolation and a disability, that's even worse on the psyche.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel like you're back in school and you're being bullied again because everyone treats you like the plague. And I think that's where part of my fear comes from, is all those years ago. And dealing with being the classroom punching bag, so to say, verbal and whatever, it really put a damper on the kind of woman I was in my younger years, because I wanted to hide. I didn't feel good. I had such low self-esteem when I was a little girl, and years of being bullied, years and years of being ostracized, years and years. And when I finally came to Alberta, I realized that I was more than what most people thought. But when I was living in BC, I only attracted garbage because when you're down, you attract a lot of garbage.
That is
right?
so true.
But when you're happy, the garbage seems to go away.
Yeah, it is so true. That's so true. Because when I was happy, I was attracting some really good friends and some really good people.
Yeah.
And I still have them, thankfully. But, like, when I got down, I was like, all of a sudden I'm sitting there going, why do I not have anything? Like, I've been budgeting. Why am I doing this? Why? Like, yeah, I was attracting a lot of crap.
What I noticed is that the higher my self-esteem goes, the better the people. But the minute I start
Very
feeling
true.
really down, that's when the garbage comes back.
Very true.
And I can't let that happen to me. Like, literally, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't afford mental health issues. I have enough of my own goddamn issues.
Yeah. Yes, I hear you. Oh,
And-
Lord.
I just feel that if I can create a community, even if it's online, where people literally support each other
Yes.
emotionally,
Yes.
and then maybe down the line when we come together, try and come up with different ways of collecting money so that we can all go on a trip together as a whole bunch of us.
Yeah.
In other words, we rent a bus and get
Make
the fuck
it.
out of Dodge.
Yeah.
But
And make a wonderful video of how we did that.
yeah, and
But yes, and I think that's what you're doing, which is really, really good. And you're also helping with it to try to make a change.
yeah.
Try to do something, and that's a really that's
But
a really
it
good
takes a
thing.
lot of work, and
It
I
does.
can't do it by myself.
No.
And I rely on
And one
other
person
people
Mhm.
and their special qualities and their special skills.
Yeah.
But people have to discover these skills all over again because of being beaten down
Exactly.
by a system that is
To have an
paid.
open group where all of us have a different strength that can also
Yeah.
build our self-esteem by showing that strength, and then as a group we can move forward.
What do you think about developing a disability caucus that works at all levels of government with the government
That would be
to
awesome.
help? I mean, Alberta has no disability act, whereas every single province does.
That's true.
But if you look through the provinces, the federal level, Bill C-81 does not include people with invisible disabilities. Not one bit,
Yeah.
unless you're a child or with severe needs.
Mhm.
And frankly, I think that if you're going to have an accessibility law, that just because someone doesn't have a chair doesn't mean that they don't need a divot in society for their accessibility.
Yeah.
Instead of calling somebody a liability, how about calling them an ability and finding that ability?
Exactly.
Help them rediscover themselves.
Exactly.
Because we, as a group of people, together, I'm pretty sure we can take all of our 2 little brain cells and make one brain.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I was thinking that. Yes, that's true. We could. Exactly.
You know,
if we
like-
all got together, we could probably all form a brain.
You know,
And a smarter, stronger brain.
I mean,
with more
now with
experience.
the Bill 1 that has become legal and a part of Alberta politics, it makes me cringe to know that my rights as a person with a disability has been denied quite literally by our government. Because what I see is that we're not allowed to protest on any infrastructure. What is that infrastructure going to be? Because they have left it so wide open.
We're not allowed to speak up about anything because they threaten us with audits. They threaten us with throwing us off at Red Deer housing or heading housing, I would say.
Yeah.
There's always the threat, and that's where it comes in with me, especially because I'm so fearful of all that. That if I speak, the last time I spoke up for the lady you met outside, I spoke up with her with housing. Then she got skirted up, but still, all of a sudden I get a phone call that there's an audit going on in my AISH, and then I had to get my new lease signed, and my lease is not up until the end of July. They wanted it back in whenever I helped her. I think it was March or April when I helped her,
Yeah.
and it was like I shut down. Then that's what happens, and that's what they do.
The biggest problem is that people tend to give up and shut up when they should never ever shut up and put up.
And that's what
Because
they
they're
do to
acting
us.
like the classroom bully. I'm sorry.
Totally. totally agree.
You deserve as much as anyone else in this world. There was a time you probably worked. There was a time that you were healthy. There was a time that you were living like everyone else and took for granted.
Oh, yes.
What was
going to the grocery
given to
store
you.
and getting whenever I want it was a huge thing I took for
Exactly.
granted. Now
Exactly.
it's like, wow, I don't know if I can get the full 30 days.
And
here.
now you finally understand why we are starting to speak out,
Yeah.
why we want to fight back, because of years and years of oppression given by government system for which allowed itself the power to say, oh, you have a disability, fuck you.
Yep.
No, I'm saying I have a disability, fuck you.
Exactly.
And that's always been my attitude, by the way.
I gleaned that before I even met you in person. I got that one. I can't figure out a lot, but that came through.
You know,
But it's true. That's what you have to be. And I understand that. And you know what? As I even sitting here today, like I said, if the social worker called right now, I'd be like, you know what? First of all those offices, including yours, is closed. So
Yeah.
I am not going to do anything until everything opens. And
Yeah.
also, I'm getting ready for surgery. And you guys had all this information 2 years ago.
yeah,
So, like, and if I can help, I also want to help some people that were in my position where I really took everything for granted. I mean, even when I was waitressing my ass off, I still could afford to live. I had a little bungalow house and everything, but in between men. What the hell is that noise?
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, I still took for granted just stupid things like going to Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Like stupid things. Like just buying a French fry now, it's like, no, I can't buy that. I have to buy like a $2 soup that could last me for the whole, like a couple of meals. It's just dumb. And I would like everyone I'd also like to speak for those people so that they could see that, you know.
What about turning that around and teaching them how to speak for themselves?
Yes, that's it. That's what I want to do. You got it.
Because to be your own
That's what I wanna
advocate
go.
means
Exactly.
to know your heart. Well, who
You
were
got it.
you before you were on AISH? You could be that again.
Yeah.
The point is, are you ready to give up and die? Because that's what most people are doing.
Yeah.
Once you're on AISH, you're going to get beaten.
Yes.
And it's like a very bad marriage.
Honestly, if
You can divorce that
Oh yeah.
emotionally and say, no,
I'm not
I
going to do it.
choose to be human. I deserve as much as Joe Schmuck down the road. I deserve to be treated with respect. Even though that I'm not working, even though that I have all these health ailments, even though that I might have a mental disability, does not make you any less
No.
human than some dumb schmuck in office.
Exactly.
Nobody
Exactly.
has the right to take that away from you. Your dignity, your humanity, that is your power. No one can take that away.
I just felt like I understand too. It's like I want to teach people how to speak for themselves. That's exactly what I want to do.
And how would you start?
I have to speak for myself, which is
Taking
I
care of
have
number
to do it.
one before you take care of number two.
exactly.
You
I
know,
gotta give myself the oxygen mask.
know your limits, know your boundaries. Guess what? That's when you say, fuck you.
Exactly.
I know I swear a lot, but you know what?
But it's true. You have to be strong because everybody that seems to be in power over us is like they're bullies.
Yes,
They're bullies.
yes.
Like if I didn't have such a wonderful advocate in my primary physician, I wouldn't have all these other wonderful specialists who also are very good. But if I didn't have him, I honestly think I would have wanted to just die.
Yeah, as do a lot of people. And
I can see why.
Aish and that kind of life will suck the life out of you.
Why? Yep.
And the point is that we have to empower our part of society, because to empower that
Yep.
means that they cannot do what they're doing. It means that you have greater power within yourself to say, no, no.
And with greater powers could come less fear.
Exactly.
on a daily basis.
It comes with self-esteem and communication. When you learn how to say no, know your boundaries, know yourself, because nobody has the power to take from you once you have and call it yours.
Yeah.
Take what is yours because it is yours to own.
Exactly.
You own your body. You own your own self. That is the one thing nobody can take from you. Be proud of it and own it. And if, for God's sakes, if you're 80 or 90 years old with fucking blue hair, all the more power to you.
I got blue hair. And the nurses, every time you go to the hospital, love the blue hair. But yeah, I mean, even there, I'm super lucky because I have the wonderful physicians and specialists. But I have seen in the hospital, even as a patient, the oppression of people with
Yes.
disabilities.
Yes.
But because my caregivers, my doctors, are very, very good, I don't feel that, but I see it.
Yes.
I see it happening.
Yeah.
Right with my roommate or
Yeah.
the Joe blow down the
Can
hallway.
you imagine with autism having social
Can't
anxiety and then?
And then being in the hospital? And then them treating you the way that they do?
Yeah.
It's like, no. I mean, not all of them. There is some nurses that are obviously
Far
very,
and few
very
between.
kind. But yes.
I
And
mean, before,
doctors too. I mean, I understand even from this building, there's a lot of women my age and stuff, and they are not getting the care as far as physicians that I do. I'm
Yeah.
lucky. I am so lucky in that respect.
would you believe that if you're on AISH and you needed in-home care, that if you're not old enough, you're denied? I've got a friend right now in her 30s that is being denied, and she's paraplegia and major health issues. Her husband is doing all the care because she's
They're not even
old.
getting age. The nurses from AHS. Really? Oh Lord.
Her husband, let's just say,
Fix
they
that.
had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And this is why we need to speak out. Because
That's the interview.
the
I saw
care,
you with,
yes, my friends.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah, that's the reality. I show the real deficits within our society.
And that she needs, but he needs, they both need.
He
They-
needs a break.
oh.
He needs to go to work. She needs
It's a
every
shame.
day, 24 hours, at least. If she got in-home care, she would not have to worry. He would not have to worry.
They both feel better.
Yeah.
The fear will be gone.
Yes. Right now,
It's just a shame.
I hired her husband to do my yard care every so often because I have a bad lower back. You think I can keep that up?
No.
Right? So I hire him. And that kind of brings up a little bit of power. You know,
Yes.
what you do for others, it will come back to you tenfold. My belief.
It is true. Sometimes it's not right away, but it is very true.
My only satisfaction about doing anything good for anybody is seeing them light up.
Yeah. That's what I like too. That was like when I did my friend's hair. Now I see why. Because I always thought, it doesn't seem like much to help her out.
It
But
doesn't take
now
much.
I see why, because someone came and did my hair. Now I see why. She would light up, like for a couple of weeks. She was really good. Like the dear soul, like really good and really, really happy and just much
It
more.
doesn't take much
herself.
to bring up someone's self-esteem and to make them smile and bring them out of the rut they're in.
Yeah.
But it's up to that person to stay out of that fucking rut.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem.
'Cause
You
once
see
I'm
them
gone-
slipping back, and then it's like, oh.
Because once I'm
But I
gone,
get
I'm
you.
not going to be here every day.
Yes, exactly.
The power is in you to keep that going.
Keep it going.
Do something
And I've
special
learned
once a day.
that from actually helping that girl because I see her like she go for 2 weeks, just like so different. She'd be more her.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, she's slipping back, and so I don't want to do that. I'm gonna move
Exactly.
forward.
So-
I'm going in non-nervous, non-scared, not worried about my age. If I'm laying here with stitches, I'm gonna tell my worker I'm laying here with stitches. Like, I'm not gonna keep myself up at night when I'm trying to recover from surgery, or even right now before I go into surgery. I'm going to get my strength up. I'm going to be in, I'm going to look after me.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start looking after others.
Exactly.
And then that's going to actually, even helping others makes you help yourself too.
Yes.
Because you just feel better.
Always do one thing special for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's something that's a little bit selfish,
Mm-hmm.
or if, say, someone needed their home cleaned.
Yeah.
You know what?
Clean their house. It makes a big difference.
It's all about socializing and getting yourself out of that rut,
Mm-hmm.
to allowing yourself to be the person that you're meant to be.
And some things can be so simple. Like I know that some lady upstairs is having mobility issues and
Exactly.
and she doesn't have the food in that she should. And I've been bringing up, like, because it's obviously hard to cook for one. If I cook for one and I have extra, I'll bring it up to her. And
What
the
about
change
piling
is
your
amazing.
food resources together
That's what I was thinking of
as a
doing with
community,
her. Mm-hmm.
and someone goes out and gets all that food,
That would be
and you
really
make yourselves
good.
a small little kitchenette kind of thing in someone's apartment once a week.
Mm-hmm.
You have a whole bunch of frozen dinners for the whole
Mhm.
entire week and do it again.
Yes,
There's
that would be awesome.
so much that people can do
Mm-hmm.
to
That's
prove
right.
to others, but also lift a lot of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Exactly.
lift spirit, you lift everything.
Exactly.
You make people feel more human
Mhm.
when you show them just that much.
Mhm.
Just 2 inches.
And then you can lay your head on your pillow, feeling good about yourself
Mhm.
too. Because I mean, it's like it's a selfish thought too, but you help yourself when you help others because
Mhm.
you feel better. You just feel better. You know someone's not hungry. You know someone's not, croaking for a cigarette even, like, or you give I had creamer and somebody didn't, so it's like, it's a treat. They had the candy creamer, and it's like, just something.
Yeah.
You can do something small for everybody.
It doesn't take much,
No.
but that little bit that you do
Mm-hmm.
could mean the world to someone.
Exactly.
I mean-
it can change their whole attitude.
That's what I try and do for other people. I try
And
to
you
figure out what they need,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked at your pictures and I'm going, she could use a new hairdo.
Yeah.
And having a punk ass little bitch like me,
Yes.
come into their life and say, you're gonna rock this.
Yes. I really liked this, and also it really made my hair actually feel better.
Yeah.
I like it. What do you think, Winnie?
Mom's blue hair.
Yeah.
Where do you think Hummingbird would be in, say, a couple of years? Use your imagination.
I fear it will be shut down.
I doubt it. Not with me.
No.
Because if you...
I fear not that you would shut it down, but I fear the Facebook, or I
No.
fear.
I would find other ways of doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there is more than one way to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
Well, that's true, and online it's not all about Facebook.
I mean,
Because
I
a lot
don't
of
do a lot of things online, as you notice. It's more information online.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do community work, like I've put myself because I can't find a job,
Mm-hmm.
that says 10 times more.
Yeah.
Because not only am I offering a resource for people to communicate, saying, hey, I need to do a video chat with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have a degree in whatever doctorate,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a degree in life.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say experience. Exactly.
And
That's right.
when you teach others how to be social,
Mhm.
again, who haven't been social for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
they can take that skill
Mm-hmm.
and show others how to be social,
Mhm.
because that in itself also brings the self-esteem. You end up doing more for yourself.
But we're even told with people with disabilities, and also anybody who's got housing and stuff, we're told not to even associate with each other. Like,
No.
it's like bizarre. It's just
It's
like,
fucked up.
it is. And that's what
Yeah,
they
I
want.
bucked the
It's like,
system.
it's like an abusive
It's a bad marriage.
partner where they take you and they isolate you and then they bully you to do what you want, and then you just want to die.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
And that's where I've always bucked the system.
Mm-hmm.
I literally bucked the system.
Yeah.
even when I was on AISH, and no one ever told me that, but it was always implied. And you know what? I like my friends. I like being around people. I'm a social butterfly. Far be it from me to have social anxiety on top of it. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It's okay, Papa.
it made my fears of anxiety almost diminish.
Yeah.
I still have it. I still want to run for the nearest airlock. But I buck myself.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm also bucking the system.
Yeah.
Oh, you have this, that, and the other. It's okay to go and hide and make your issues worse. No,
But don't come out and make your issues better.
no,
It's like
no,
they teach us to make them worse.
no. How about bucking the system?
Exactly. That's the way of
Bucking the system by saying, no, I choose to be this way because I need to be this way. This is not who I am. This is not how I was raised. This is not how I was born. It is my home, my voice, my humanity. That is what matters.
Yeah. I agree. I have to clean his ear up.
Yeah.
I can tell it's hot. No, his ear. I need to clean his ear.
Well, I guess we're done.
Okay, we're
for
done.
now?
It's Winston's
Say
ear
goodbye.
time. Bye. Winston has a
All right.